The first inning was a story game. I thought there were some close pitches there. Honestly, I have to go back and look on the trap, man. I thought Jake had Houston struck out. He didn't. They had the base loaded before we blinked with one out, and the count goes 3-2 on Wentz. And Jake makes a heck of a pitch, and then the next guy swings, I believe, at the first pitch. Flew out, and then I thought our offense was really locked in. I feel like they've been starting to turn the corner. I've always liked our offense, but the struggles helped us. Guys are starting to creep up, taking better swings. Exit velocity is much better. Top to bottom team win. Really good to see Carter French in there, drop that safety down. Thought Chewy was good, and I thought Bolton, little things that people don't look at like I look at. I know how good their offense is, and if they get, that's the heart of their order where Bolton came in and faced Lewis, and we need to get him out right there when Nay's up there. If he hits a home run, next thing you know, it could be 9-5. So I thought that was big. Bolton, a really good start for us to the series, and but they're going to be ready to go tomorrow, so we'll have to flush it and move on.
We talk all the time about timely hitting, but how did you see the timely pitching show up? You had a lot of guys that went deep into counts, and I mean that one with Kale with those two men on.
Yeah.
It was, I think, 3-2 full count, and there were some pitches that had to be made, and your guys executed them tonight.
Yeah, it's twofold. It's Coach Gaines not giving in with the pitch calling. It was 3-2 slider. Chewy threw a 3-2 slider. Jake, as the game went along, started to find his off-speed better. I didn't think Jake really started getting loose until right at the end, especially with his off-speed. After the first, he didn't have too many high-tax inning, but we made big pitches, and we talk about winning the 3-2 count if we get to it. We did a good job of winning that.
They gave up like 7 runs the whole series at Florida State, and you topped that by, I think, the 4th inning.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ACC. It's a hard league. You literally have to move on quickly and not look behind you what you did, good or bad. I think every team can beat you. You have to play well. You have to finish games. But I like our team, and like I told you guys earlier, you have some adversity early, some tough losses, go through some stretches. When you get in that second half of the season, it can really help you if you have tough players, and I think we have tough players.
In the non-conference games, you've had no trouble getting a lot of home runs, but in the league games, they've been a little bit harder to come by, and you get the 2 today.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take them any way we can get them. I hadn't even looked at that, honestly. I know the league's tough. I look at the pitching that we faced. But again, batting average, sometimes obviously it matters, but you have to be careful looking at it until you get into that meat of the end of the season, because teams can get hot, and if they're good hitters, they also can have a bad stretch. I mean, you look at Kepley, he had a really hard stretch, but he's a heck of a hitter. And all of a sudden, him and Luke get going, they're hitting above 300 in a blink, and you see Gavin, how bad he started, where he is now, how bad Vanderbrake started, where he is now. So I feel like it's getting a little more contagious, but I also want to give credit to Coach Jackson and Coach Wierzbicki. Sometimes when you fail, you listen a little bit more. And these guys have really been bought in on what we've been trying to do, be on the fastball, stay in their low, stay in their lower half, and it's really helped them.
In the second inning, you guys put up 4. I think 5 of the hitters put the ball in play on the first or second swing at the at-bat, or first or second pitch to the at-bat. Was there an approach change to try and ambush that fastball?
There was, we wanted to hit his fastball, not try to hit his curveball. The curveball's nasty. That's a kid out of high school. Is a really high-profile recruit. Turned out a lot of money. I can see why. Got a heck of an arm, but the curveball is real. And we told our guys, either take the curveball when you get it or fight it off with 2 strikes. Our plan was to try to be on time for that fastball.
Chewy was the first guy out of the pen tonight, which we haven't seen him in that role, especially in conference play. What has he done in his past few appearances that earned him that spot tonight? Yeah,
when you have a guy or 2 down, like unfortunately we do, somebody's got to step up, and Chewy's been throwing really good in his bullpens as well as Bolton. Going into that Duke series, so you pay attention to that stuff. But he's older. He's been a weekend starter, but he tore his lat completely, like off the bone, his senior year. Or his last year at Princeton, so it's taken him a little while, and we've seen the fastball come back. He's always got that slider. Still needs to improve his fastball command, because the slider's so good that'll really help him. But he's just an older veteran guy that has shown us in the live BPs on the field and the bullpen that he deserves the chances that he's getting now.
I think you guys tied your record for conference game hits tonight with that Duke game. You had the Duke game, Elon tonight. A lot of momentum, but this team, the Wake team, I mean, they scored 4, lost FSU Friday, and then
Correct.
they come back and score 17.
Yeah.
How do you make sure the guys keep the momentum, but also just don't get too in their heads?
That's just what we preach. I remind them after every game, you either buying into what I tell you or what we tell you every day about being process oriented, and outcomes really are distractions. You win and you go crazy, if it's a walk-off, but then you got to take a shower and move on because you got the whole series. The series isn't over. Same thing I tell them if it's a super regional. I mean, we're not celebrating beating West Virginia on Friday. We've got to win another game. So that's what we talk about, and they know. Like, you get this point of the season, it's like Stanford. You 10-run rule them, and then you lose on Sunday. But that we went into that, I think, thinking we were just going to show them win that game, and that's not the way it works. You have to show up and play. So I expect these guys to show up and be ready to go again tomorrow, and they will.
You talk a lot about just how important the little things are. How did you see your team execute those? I mean, you sent Alex on that aggressive base running, or you sent Gavin on that aggressive base running call, and I mean the bunt. Just how did you see them execute?
Well,
the
sent
little
Bass
things?
too, but he stopped. Thank goodness. I thought for sure. I don't know why he didn't try to turn to a play right there, but we want to put pressure. That's one thing this offense, we can do, and that's why we've still managed to win games. If you ask other teams, if I'm scouting our team, I would say they're extremely athletic, 1 through 9. They have athleticism on the bench, and hit for a lot of power yet. But if you watch them take BP, they've got some guys in the middle of that order: Luke, Steve, Bass. They've got power, and some other ones, Gavin. So one of our goals is to pressure the defense as much as possible. Dirt ball reads, hard 90s, hard turns, steal bases, make them think we're going to steal bases, 1 through 9, and the guys work hard at it as well.
Carter gets opportunity and left. It's been a little bit of a revolving door with Sawyer down. Just what have you seen from him that gives him this opportunity?
He's clearly he's close to tie with second of our best defender in the outfield, and he's definitely number 3. So we met as a staff, and he knows the strike zone. He's never scared. He can get the bunts down now. But he's a plus defender. And if you look at how we've been throwing the ball, if you look at Jake Knapp, and you look at the opponents that we're facing, you look how many fly balls we've given up this year to the corner spots in the outfield. And Jackson Vanderbreak's had to make more plays this year than Madera because of the velocity. We just felt like, he was the guy to play in left field and potentially save us some runs. And we also felt like he would give us a quality at bat. We had that opportunity, we could get a safety down or suicide and that type of thing.
When it comes to the adjustments of the play with Gavin in particular, what's clicking in your mind?
Him and Coach Weirs, they've just been working their tails off. And, Gavin had been trying to hit the ball so deep that's why he was barreling it and had decent exit velocity, but it's a fly ball instead of catching it a little more out front and having his timing better. You would have to ask Gavin, because I trust those guys. I try to stay out of their way because I don't want to go in there and say, hey, Gavin, I see this. Because that's what Coach Wiersbicki and Coach Jackson are supposed to do. So I give those guys all the credit on that. You'd have to ask them exactly what they're working on.
I know we've talked about Jake Knapp every week, it seems like, but today, the tight strike zone in the first, responds there, but he also, I think, had like 12 3-ball counts. Can you talk about how unflappable he is in those moments?
Yeah, that's what makes him, obviously he's got great stuff. He's a big kid. He can handle a big workload. He has 3 pitches. He throws 95 plus. But Jake is able to, the better pitchers are able to still find a way to get outs if they're not extra sharp. And I'm sure Jake will tell you, I was pretty sharp, but he also has days where he puts the ball exactly where he wants to. And he made big pitches in those 3-2 counts. But he's also smart enough to not give in to good hitters. And I'm not afraid to go 3-2. I don't want to give in with a fastball right down the middle. 2-2, and he's worked really hard. Again, all the credit goes to that kid because he has made himself who he is.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank y'all.
When have back-to-back triple-digit outings.
Yeah, I think Coach Gass does a great job in the weight room with us. Terry Joe does a phenomenal job with us in kind of recovery. So there's a lot of different things that go into it. Just planning your throwing around, knowing that you're going to go that far every weekend. So there's a lot of different things, and there's a lot of people around here with so much knowledge that have helped me kind of plan that out.
Do you have to do any sort of like mental recovery during the week to get ready to go and compete in games like this?
Just try and sleep. Like tonight I won't sleep, get a lot of adrenaline in a night game, but not a whole lot. Like I don't overthink it.
Do you throw less during the week when you're throwing a lot on the weekend, or is it usually the same?
It just depends on what I'm working on. So I think there was 2 weeks ago, my slider was really inconsistent, so I threw a lot of off-speed pitches that week. This week, I'll probably do that again with my slider and changeup. But if I'm getting a full week's rest, like try it. So I got an extra day this week, which if we had it on the back end going into Virginia Tech, I would have thrown a longer bullpen. So it kind of messed it up a little bit this week, but I throw between 30 and 40 pitches normally every time.
Forbes said you didn't actually start getting loose till the very end of your outing. When do you think you kind of felt that you were back in the groove?
I don't know about getting loose, but I thought my stuff was a lot better towards the end. I always think I feel pretty good out there, just kind of with adrenaline and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know about getting loose, but my stuff was better.
You got in to, I think, 12 to 13 3-ball counts, and knowing what this offense that Wake Forest can do, how do you try to execute that 3-2 pitch? And obviously a walk's better than giving up a home run or something like that. So how do you kind of approach that?
Well, a lot of it depends on the situation of the game. Like our offense did an unbelievable job of getting on them early and staying on them. So in a 3-2 count, like I'm not afraid to give up a home run, especially a solo home run. So you attack guys like Merrick Houston and those guys that are really good hitters, and if they beat you, they beat you, especially when I think we put up 5 in the first 3 and just continue to score. So when the offense is swinging it like that, you just go right after them. So it depends on the situation of the game, but I trust my fastball to kind of take care of everything. And when you're up that big, it makes it a lot easier on the pitchers.
Not just you, but
Two
Chewy
more.
and Bolton. How did all of the timely pitching show up, especially those big pitches in those 3-2 counts?
Those 2 guys, I mean, it's awesome to see them out there now. Like that's tough to handle, being an older guy and playing a lot, and both of them have gone about it absolutely the right way, and it's going to keep rewarding them through the rest of the season. But I think that just shows the work that they've put in, and they're both older, experienced guys that have thrown in a lot of baseball games, so they're going to continue to help us and keep making pitches in those big situations.
Have you and Chewy had any conversations on the fact that you guys kind of both missed what would have been that senior season?
Yeah, we talked about it because we would have pitched against each other last year, which would have been fun when Princeton was here. So we talk about it a little bit, not as much now as we did in the beginning, but.
Thanks.
Thank you
Jake.
guys. Of course, thank you.
Sorry.
She's still
What? Did I steal your question? You didn't say
Somewhat,
anything.
little bit.
You're good. We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, Gavin, Coach Forbes said that you and Coach Weirs, Coach Jackson have made a few mechanical changes at the plate, and obviously they're paying off. Can you just kind of walk us through what's the process of going about doing that, and then what exactly did you change?
Yeah, so I guess it kind of all just starts with get a text from Coach Weirs that says, let's hit. Gives me a time, and I said, all right, that sounds good to me. Just getting in the cage with him, being able to spend some time in like small groups or one-on-one, we really get to connect more, and he does such a good job like going back, watching video, and just like analyzing things, and then he brings it to me and he keeps it simple, so it really helps. Specifically, been working on as a team, being slow to the fastball. If you're slow to the fastball, you'll be able to adjust the off speed, and it just helps you stay under control of the box. For me, we worked on more of my posture in the box, specifically in my load, just making sure I'm in a good hitting position, then get my foot down.
Did he give you any videos or like homework to watch of you? I know he had Mandy watch like 3 of his clips from 2023. Did he give you any of that?
No, not so much. Just watch like previous video from this year, and then comparing it to other players too. We watched a few other guys that are in the ACC and seeing how like I'm similar to them, but they do like 1 or 2 things differently that I need to get to that 6th spot.
Can you tell us who the other guys were?
I mean, just Drew Burris was one of them. So I mean, it's a good guy to watch no matter who you are. And
When you say slow to the fastball, it kind of sounds oxymoronic. What does that mean specifically, and how does that help you specifically?
yeah, it's more about like moving, like keeping your body slow. So you got to start sooner, so you're still on time, and if you're slow to the fastball, we say slow feet, and it's just about keeping your body under control, really. So if you got to start sooner, move slower, it'll help stay on time for the fastball and keep your head still too, so you can see the ball better, adjust better.
Going off that, I think the home run tonight was off the slider. I think in 2 before there's been these last 2 games have also been on the slider, and then you've been getting a steady diet of those. To be able to be in there, hang in there for that pitch recently, like, is that kind of gratifying in some ways in terms of the adjustments you're making?
Yeah, that's definitely something I work on over the past year and a half. That's been the thing that I struggle with is that right-handed slider, and so just working on that. I know that, like, I'm confident in myself that I know I can hit mistakes, and that's really what those pitches have been. They're just mistakes. So.
You know, I'm sure throughout the offseason you've probably heard a lot of this coaching staff about how they've seen you before, they're pitching to you different than this year. What is it kind of taking that, in preseason and actually going through it once the season starts?
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, we actually have talked about doing the complete opposite. We went through that little stretch there where we weren't hitting as good as we wanted to, and we all kind of just went back and said, like, how are you feeling on opening day? Like, you weren't worried about how guys pitch you weren't worried about, anything, you're just going out there having fun. And I think that's something that we've really committed to, is just playing every day like it's opening day. And I think you can really tell the guys having a lot more fun, approaches are a lot better, and guys are just thinking less. I think it's really paying off.
You guys had no trouble hitting home runs in non-conference games, Tuesday as an example. But the league games, you haven't been hitting as many home runs. What's made the difference? Like tonight, a couple home runs, give your guys confidence that you can do it in league games.
Yeah, I think kind of like what I talked about earlier with being slow to the fastball is something we've really emphasized the past 2 weeks, and I think like it's such a simple thing to think about, but that's kind of what hitting is at the end of the day, is trying to make it as simple as possible. So if we can focus on something as simple as that and execute it, I think you're going to start seeing more home runs every game you play.
What was going through your mind when Forbes sent you on Alex's double?
I had no idea, honestly. I don't know. I had my head down running hard the whole way. I figured he was going to send me. I didn't actually know that the ball never got to the corner. So I thought it was just a line drive down the line, got to the corner. I thought I was scoring the whole time. So luckily I just never slowed down.
I mean, in that vein, and then you guys got the sack bunts down, how did you see this team, and really in the past 2 weeks, execute all the little things that you need to win ACC games like this?
Yeah, I think this is what everybody's been waiting for. We played, in my opinion, a complete game top to bottom. Pitching was unbelievable, and our at-bats throughout the entire game were, like, we executed exactly what we wanted to do. And so I think that's just what we're capable of right there. Is I think we can go and do that to any team in the country.
How do you guys keep this momentum going,
2 more.
but also keep a level head? Wake Forest last weekend, they lost like 5-4, and then they go and they run Will Florida State. So how do you kind of keep those two things in your minds?
We just go at it like we do every day. Stick with the process. Be excited about the win, and then once you leave the Bosch, it's over, and you got to move on, get ready for the next day.
After that Texas Tech series where you hit was that weekend and kind of a slow start of the series, we talked to Coach Forbes, and he made the statement that you would still lead the team in almost every stat or close to it. And like obviously you might hit your stride, but what does that say about a coach that has so much confidence in you, even when you have that start like that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it makes me feel good, but that's just kind of the type of coach he is. He talks about that a lot with, he says he can't give you confidence that's internal, but he can take it away. Anybody can as an outsider, and so he just does everything he can to stay positive and just supports us as players no matter what we're going through, because like he knows we're not trying to go out there and get out. And so just to have that support from him and support from everybody on the team, it just kind of helps you keep pushing.
Thanks, Gavin.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Gavin. Congrats.
Thanks.